Hello, Oregon Moto John here. Today we're going to talk about our cold weather edition. We're doing some winter riding in Oregon. It's not uncommon for us to have 30, 34 to 50 degree weather. Anytime it gets into the mid 30s and 40s, I find it's harder to stay warm on a motorcycle, especially in enduro, because you're buzzing down the highway at 50, 60 miles per hour before maybe you get to some trails. So I just wanted to tell you what's worked for me. It's taken me years to work some of this out. Now in the summer, this will be completely different. We'll have to do another video, which I'll do. It'll be completely different for summer riding. There'll be chest protectors, and I ditch the jacket for other attire. So, but for this, so let's get started. First of all, what I'm wearing is wool socks. Okay, I'm wearing thermals. Okay, see, I have thermals. I'm wearing shorts on top because middle-aged body isn't spandex worthy, so I thought I'd spray you guys all that. I'm using this FXR top. Anything will work. Any thermal you want to use. I get these at Costco, I think. I wear these. I think that's the bottoms I have on. Usually it's the tops too. So this 32 degree heat pack, they seem to work pretty good. There's those. So you need thermals. And then layering. Everybody talks about layering. Well, what do we wear? So I like to put on a thermal layer. Then I put on a t-shirt, just any t-shirt. And you could use another long sleeve, but I like to wear this. So if I take off my coat and I'm inside, I can wear this and look reasonably normal. So I wear a t-shirt, and ideally you put it on right side out. There we go. Okay, then I like to put on another layer, because this I can always take off and throw it in my Climb backpack that I have right here. I have fluid in there. I have a windbreaker that if I got it wrong, I can always take that. I carry a Climb windbreaker, real thin one that I always just have packed in there. I can always put that on if I'm too cold. And I can also delayer into that. So thermal layer, t-shirt, another layer, and anything long sleeve will work. This isn't really that thick, but I'd rather be able to shed layers than be out in the middle of nowhere and be cold. Then I just have this vest, any vest. I mean, this will pack down pretty small. This one happens to be a mountain hardware. I found their stuff to be pretty good, but take your brand of choice. There's lots of vests, so I'll put this vest on. And now I'm ready for a jacket. I guess we better put on some pants. So I found I like the Clem Carlsbad pants. They're Gore-Tex. They have the better kind of protection in the hips and knees and sacral area or tailbone area. So I usually just put these babies on. So I'm gonna put those on. Get my shorts off. And I love these Gore-Tex pants. I've fallen down in a stream crossing once with my 690 Enduro R, and I thought I was going to be totally wet. And actually it wasn't bad. All right, so these are 34 shorts. Climb does make the Carlsbad, I think, most of their pants shorts. I like them. They're you can Velcro up on the sides with these easy closures. These Climb pants, they vent, so you can vent if you want to. On a day like today, probably no venting. And I find with thermals underneath, I stay very warm. So some Gore-Tex waterproof pants. Now, let's talk about earplugs. I always wear earplugs. There's lots of motorcycle-specific earplugs, but just the wind noise, not to mention exhaust, can make you deaf over time, and most of us want to have to preserve our hearing. I use these Climb glove liners. They're very thin. They've got a spot on the index finger so you can still work your phone. So I do use these quite a bit. And I'll just put these glove liners underneath like my Climb gloves. These are kind of like I think snowmobile type gloves, but I like them. They keep me warm in the winter. I think they're the Power Cross or X Cross gloves, Power X Cross or something, but they're kind of remind me of ski gloves, but not as bulky. Heated grips are key. These Oxford heated grips I put on my bikes. As I mentioned in other videos, if it were just for grip alone, I would never put them on because I don't like they're a little bigger. But in Oregon and other places where it's cold, man, you've got to have them. My hands, even despite wearing glove liners and good gloves, you almost can't compete when it's 34 degrees outside, wind's hitting you, if you're going 60 miles an hour, really hard to compete with that. So I found the heated grips are a must for, at least for me. And I generally have warm hands. Another thing, I use a pin lock on my helmet, which means you have to change out your visor. If it doesn't have the little nubbins here, see how there's a little nubbin here and on the other side, right there. That lets, when you buy this specific pin lock visor for your helmet, then it can snap on and it kind of gives you this dual pane layer. You can see the silicone bead right around here. So then you can, it's a little more resistant to fogging or to not fogging. So in cold weather, I find that is a must. So just kind of a pin lock, and you can get them, buy them with or without vents. Talked about gloves, earplugs, talked about thermals. Going back to jackets. I've done a lot of experimentation with jackets. If I'm wearing my Carlsbad jacket, my Klein Carlsbad jacket, this is one of my favorite jackets. It's Gore-Tex, waterproof. I can use this into the 40s and 50s, but I find if it's 30 degrees, I can get cold unless I really bundle up. With the way I'm bundled up right now, I think I'd probably be warm with this. But if I do a lot of trails, it's great because I can easily cool down by shedding these mid layers, okay? But this is the Clem Carlsbad. I bought a Clem Badlands. And you can see this Carlsbad has been used. It's kind of dirty and I've washed it a bunch of times. Now look at my Badlands. I waited years to buy this. I just bought it last year. And look at how clean it is. I wore it once. Why is it so clean? Well, it's heavy. It's got a waist strap to cinch it up so it takes some of the weight and puts it around your hips. So while on the one hand it's one of the best jackets I've ever worn, on the other hand it's so big and bulky for the kind of riding I do. Unless you're going on cross-country rides, I don't know that this is the one for me. I have a long torso, so I don't find it bulks up in the midsection, but I'm very long-waisted as far as the long torso, short legs. I'm just not sure about this jacket. I think maybe if I were doing a long across the world, around the world kind of a thing, I'd ride across the U.S. This is probably what I would bring, but for the little 2 to 4 hour jaunts that I take on my Enduro, it's a lot of jacket. It's heavy. If I start hitting trails, I get hot, and then it's hard to, I'd have to start shedding layers into my backpack. So I find 90% of the time I'm using my Klein Carlsbad. And again, not that the Badlands is a bad jacket, no pun intended. It's just probably a little bit more of a jacket than I need. This is a coat, motorcycle coat I've had for probably 4 years now, and I have just been pleased with it. It's the Alpine Star Andes 2. There's probably a 3 out now, or another version, but this is probably what I'll wear today. I'm going to ride later today, and I'll try to post some clips from that. It's cold. It's, like I said, 34 degrees today. I'll probably wear this one because, I mean, for the money, I don't think this was an expensive jacket either. It's just a good jacket. This jacket has a little bit of armor in it, in the elbows, a little bit in the back, and it has this vest liner that zips out. So I find that many times I don't have to layer up as much. Like right now, if I were to put this jacket on with this configuration, this might be more of a Carlsbad mid-layering situation. I might get a little hot. And then the vest, zips out. And so this one, unlike the Carlsbad, has a little bit of a vest zip in and out layer system, which I found to be great for cold weather. this Alpine Star Andes 2 is really nice. It's got some venting. It's got a cinch strap around the waist. This is a 2XL. So I found that the Andes sizing was small. I'm not a big guy, but I wouldn't say I'm small. I've got moderately sized shoulders, so I just couldn't fit in any of the other stuff. Sizing wise on the other coats, I think I'm a large. Yeah, I'm a large in the other one. So when I went up to a 2XL on this, I think I had to send it back a couple times. I don't wear a 2XL in anything I own, so it kind of surprised me. 5'7" and I don't know, 185 pounds. I just never thought of myself as a 2XL kind of guy, but for this particular jacket, I guess I am. So just keep that in mind when you're buying it. But I've had good luck with this jacket. One of the last things I want to talk about is this Climb neck gaiter. This is essential on these cold days. I put this on before I put my helmet on, and I typically don't run it up here. I just don't like cold air coming up and getting down and around my, in my chest area or my neck on these super cold days. So this thing's pretty handy. It's just kind of a neck gaiter kind of a device. And last thing, mid layers. So when I'm wearing my Carlsbad jacket, like today, if I'm going to wear this Carlsbad jacket, I'm definitely going to get a mid layer because it doesn't have a vest, quilted vest like my Alpine Star. So today, if I'm going to wear the Carlsbad jacket, and they're both such similar setups in the end, it's hard to know which way to go. I'm going to wear like FXR kind of snowmobile stuff. They got some great mid layers that are thin. They're just coats that are semi-waterproof. I've had really, really good luck with their stuff. So I'll put this on, or Klein makes a kind of a mid layer that's very nice, and you can wear this as a regular jacket. It's not waterproof, but it makes a nice jacket just to wear out and about. And so that's something to consider. So going back to your jackets, make sure you get a jacket that's big enough to where you can layer up underneath it. I get something that's fitted that I'm not swimming in, but I still make sure you put some layers on underneath it, because in most situations when it's cold, you're going to need to layer up pretty thick when you're buzzing down the highway at 55, 60 miles an hour. And then if you start working some trails or gravel roads where you're standing up, or maybe you're having to move the bike around, you'll get hot very, very quickly. You're going to have to start shedding layers. So a backpack can be helpful, so you can put layers into that backpack and then pull them out. Plus, you could always pack a little fuel if you need to. I think that's everything, I guess. So mid layers I need if I'm wearing the Carlsbad. Badlands is a pretty warm jacket. You wouldn't need a whole lot of mid layering there other than layering. Both the Alpine Star, I don't know that you need a real thick mid layer. Boots, you're always better off with a dedicated riding boot. You can see my color scheme today has all been pretty much orange. Well, because I've ridden KTMs my whole life. It's my first Husky, which is made by KTM. I guess I'm just the orange guy on the white bike. You're always better off with a dedicated motorcycle boot. These are, I think, the Tech 10s. Alpine Star makes a lot of good, boots for riders. They're protective. They got some stiffness to them. Many times, if I'm doing a short ride, and I don't advocate this because it's not a safe option, I wear these Nike hiking boots. They're Gore-Tex. They have a reasonably stiff sole, but again, look at how soft they are. You can break your ankle in that. Pros and cons: it's easier to shift and brake in these, harder to shift and brake in these, but these are the best choice. But I'm just trying to give somebody an option if they're like, hey, I'm not going to wear riding boots, I'm just not doing it. Then these can be an option. But just know that you're susceptible for injury with these. If a car hits you, the bike, foot peg rams into the side of your ankle, I could see your ankle's having a really bad day. So I don't want to miscommunicate. You're always better off with a riding boot. Always, 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 100% of the time. But if you're just not going to do that, you want your feet warm, you want them waterproof, you want something else, then that is something you could use in a pinch. So there's my talk on, I guess, cold weather gear. I hope that helps. It's taken a lot of experimentation to get this right. Last thing I should mention is many times I'll wear a pair of like clear glasses that change in response to the light underneath my helmet, and a lot of people do that. Then I can, if this fogs up, I could put these on and still have some protective eyewear. You could pack some goggles, and a lot of my buddies pack goggles. That's a really good idea. That's even better than this. But I know there's a limit to how much we can pack. In my Klein knack pack, I also carry something to clean my lens. This is a muck off, little package here with some lens spray cleaner and a little cloth. So, you can see there's a little scratch-free, lint-free cloth there. And then I just have this spray that you can use. So I do carry that because sometimes you can get fogged over, even with taking the right steps. It's nice to have that along. And I carry snacks in this. Today I'm going on a couple-hour ride. I'll carry a little water. A little tip here for when you're riding today it's going to be just wet and muddy and mucky. SC1, or a lot of guys use WD-40, or you could use Pledge Furniture Polish. Just don't get any of this stuff on your brakes and rotors. You can spray up here on your inside of your wheel wells, and I've detailed the bike out already, so that helps. But I'll spray a few key components, and then when you're hitting the mud and stuff, it just has a harder time sticking. And then when I come back, it's like it makes the cleanup job a lot easier. So if you can kind of pick and choose what you spray, but when it's a nasty day like today, I'll use some of that. And there's lots of other products. Some guys use WD-40, like I said, Lemon Pledge. There's lots. I like the SC1, but I've used other things. I use furniture polish, Lemon Pledge furniture polish for years. It seems like it has a silicone base, although I'm not sure exactly what it is, but in a pinch, if you didn't have this, you could do that. But again, don't get it on your rotors. It does seem to have a silicone base to it. Furniture polish is slick, and this stuff seems slick, so if you get it on your brake rotors, I've had some experiences where I'm braking and they're just not there till some of that gets burned off. Or if you notice that you happen to get overspray on it, then just use some rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol is great on your rotors with a rag, and it'll cut through that. But don't intentionally spray your rotors. You don't want to do that. And I think that's all I got. I hope this helps. I'm sure I've missed some things, so some of you will have suggestions. Please like and subscribe. I'll be trying to do other gear videos like this for warmer weather, cooler weather, and riding tips, just different things. So hope this helps. Another thing, heated vest. Sometimes I'll use a heated vest. I don't have a plug-in system on this bike because it's kind of a leaner, meaner setup, but on my 890, KTM 890 Adventure R, I have a little plug-in, and I plug into a heated vest, and that's great. I just put an adjustment on the handlebars. So that's nice, because then if you don't get your layering right, you can micro-adjust. And I didn't pick one with a battery because I didn't want to get underdressed and then be dependent on the vest, have the battery go bad, and then you're too cold. So I do like the one that you just take a connection from your battery, hardwired up to around your handlebars, and there's an adjuster, and you plug into your vest. The cons are you gotta unplug and plug when you get on and off the bike because there's a wire connection to your vest. Pros are that you never run out of battery. It seems to run a little hotter than the battery ones, because the battery ones, if you run them hot, the battery will run out quicker than if it's run cooler. So there's lots of variables there that make it harder to plan your how to stay warm. So today I'm not plugging in on this setup, but a plug-in vest is a great option for a bike that you're going to be doing more highway miles on. Anyway, hope this helps. Comment. I'm sure there's things I forgot. We can all learn from each other, and that's what this channel is about. I've got some other things coming. I have kind of a rehab background, exercise background, so I'll be doing some videos on things to protect your shoulders and your spine to keep it healthy for riding, for motorcycle riding. Riding is kind of hard on the body, but it's also activity, so that's good. So I'm going to try to do a series in the near future on that. I think that'll be educational and helpful for most people that are interested in continuing to ride throughout their lifespan. As they get older, keeping your joints healthy and strong is going to be helpful. So I'm looking forward to doing a series on that. Just like most of us, I need to find the time to do it. So hope this helps. Like and subscribe, and good things to come. All right, have an awesome day. Keep riding. Enjoy the adventure.